So the 2018 FIFA World Cup, ladies and gentlemen, will be organized in Russia.
Soccer is popular, is very popular all over the world, especially in Russia.
But I said to myself, I said, you know, this Russia thing with
Kremlin Kilbane.
Oh, come on in, big guy.
How are you, Joseph? How are you keeping?
Very well. How are you?
Oh, all's good. All's good. Surviving. All's well. It's what day are we on now? We've passed the halfway stage. That's all I do know. Is it 36 games now, or 34 games, whatever it is? So we're well on the way now to the second half of the tournament.
We're having a heat wave, Kev, over here. 32 degrees tomorrow, potentially 33 in places. We're having a heat wave. It's going to last until next week.
Oh, beautiful. And I'm away for it as well. It's not too bad here. Weather's okay. It's a bit milder back. I've just landed back in Moscow today. It's a bit milder than it was when I left. But you can enjoy the sunshine, Joe. You're going to work on that suntan?
I will. So what's the passport situation? Where are we? Has that been sorted out for you?
I've been into the embassy this morning. Great people in the embassy for me. Chris, in the big West Brom fan, actually, he has sorted everything out for me. So yeah, I'm hoping actually to have it probably this evening. But we're going to wait and see how it is. Might be a bit touchy, because I'm due to fly out to Kazan tomorrow because I'm doing South Korea and Germany on Wednesday. So it's just going to be a bit touch and go how it is. But I think I'll be fine.
Can you be trusted with your passport? You don't want to leave it in with someone else for the next couple of weeks? Get Guy Mowbray.
Yeah, no, I'm used to being part of a team, aren't I, where someone just takes the passport off us. We get on the plane, we get off the other side. Hey, Joe, this is me third major tournament now, I think it is. Fourth major tournament. Actually, fifth tournament I've done, but this is my fourth major tournament, and I've never lost it once. So you've got to give me a bit of leeway there, surely.
Rumour has it that Enda Kenny got involved here. Can you confirm or deny?
I can't confirm or deny that, Joe.
The Mayo Mafia. The Mayo Mafia runs deep.
Joe, that's private, Joe. You know, I'd never discuss that sort of thing. You know. That.
Oh, sorry. So the stuff you put in the WhatsApp group is not to be discussed on air. Is that what we're saying?
You're such a gobshite.
Okay, I'm getting it now. Hey, Kev. So we're going to have Martin Lipton on later on because he has told us for years now they're a quarterfinal team, and just deal with it and just accept it. But I don't know. Stephen Hunt yesterday in the Sunday Independent tips England to win the World Cup. And if you want, you can genuflect before Harry Kane and worship at the altar, Kev, because England, Kev, are going all the way.
Yeah, I know. It sounds great, doesn't it? Honestly, that's all of it. Hunt is saying that.
He tipped them before the World Cup. He tipped them before the World Cup, and then in his piece yesterday he said, having seen everybody, all the big guns, and this was before their 6-1 win yesterday.
Yeah, can I just... Well, they played Panama and Tunisia, Joe.
Yeah.
Panama and Tunisia. Germany were beaten by Mexico. Mexico are a very, very good side, good footballing side. Spain, Portugal. Spain played unbelievable against a good Portugal side. So France as well. France, you can't say no, because we've seen in the last major tournament, Portugal didn't play great football all the way through and won it, and Greece did it in 04. So we know it can be done. So of course I'm not saying that it can't be done, but England have played the best football against Panama. Panama who couldn't defend. I mean, that was the most abysmal sort of defending I've seen from any side at any level yesterday against England. So if you're getting carried away from a performance like that against Panama, then your judgment needs seriously tested.
I thought Panama were a very good team, Kev.
Did you really?
Very good.
Yeah, great side. Honestly, I think they're a great side too.
No, look, it's very hard to judge. But what is very noticeable is that this English team seem to be having a lot of fun, seem to be expressing themselves, seem to be genuinely, they have a threat. They are threatening when they go forward with the ball. Like we've seen even the golden generation, quote unquote, at major tournaments, labour against lesser sides, maybe scrape a 1-0 win. Beckham puts in a cross and they nick a header with Peter Crouch and it's last gasp stuff. And I appreciate that happened against Tunisia, but it's a long time since we've seen an English side put goals away with such ease.
Yeah. No, you can't deny that. And no matter what it is, you're playing international football. The Panama have qualified in their own right. I'm talking about them on that day, the way that Panama defended. So Panama, it was abysmal what they were doing on set pieces and everything. So it was totally unprofessional, I felt. But you're right in saying that. I think you've got to give them credit for how they went about it. And the one thing that you touched on there, and I think that's that I wouldn't have seen it from an English side for such a long time now, is the fact is that there is genuine joy. When they scored that first goal against Tunisia, it wasn't that feeling of relief. Yeah. It was joy. It was joyous. And that's what I felt with the goals that they were scoring against Panama as well. So, yeah, that is the thing. It does seem like there's a bit of togetherness there, and there's a bit of a decent team spirit within that camp, yeah.
Yeah, maybe they've played down expectations to such an extent that pressure maybe is off. Like, I mean, even take Jesse Lingard's goal, a brilliant goal, and then this stupid celebration. Which is kind of, you know, I mean, it's I guess it's the done thing these days. But there was a certain impishness about the celebration of, you know, like we're just having a bit of fun here. This is great fun. We're all enjoying ourselves, and that's maybe the rare thing. The other interesting thing, Jonathan Northcroft. So this is a sense of what people are saying about it. Jonathan Northcroft in the Times. Set pieces, the build up from the back, the intelligent formation, the patterns like those diagonal balls. Speared from either side to a number 8 arriving from deep. This is coaching. This is planning in the staff powwows. This is training ground work. And Rio Ferdinand was saying it's the first time since Hoddle, he's played under all the other managers since, the first time since Hoddle and maybe I guess Venables as well, that he feels England have a formation where they're trying to express themselves and do something different. I appreciate I sound like I'm getting very carried away here. I'm not saying they're going to win the tournament necessarily, but I just thought they were going to flatter to deceive again and be miserable and something would go wrong, and the opposite seems to have happened. So I don't know. I don't know how excited you get, but they have the potential to get to a semi-final, this team?
Well, you seem very excited. You're a big England fan, Joe. You always have been.
Yeah, I do like England.
Each their own as far as I'm concerned. I wouldn't judge you for that, of course, but I think you're right in saying that the one thing, you know, tactically you would always look at sides, and you mentioned there the diagonal balls. Yeah. You'll keep a ball in a tight area. You'll start to try and suck sides into you. The diagonal ball is always an out ball for teams. I was at the Japan-Senegal game last night, and Senegal looked like they were cruising through that first half, and all of a sudden, one diagonal ball, an overlapping run from left back, they get caught out. That is the way that you can catch out teams. Kyle Walker is a player that likes to step in. I think they've got real ability for it. It's the right to left ball. I feel that probably would hurt sides the most with England. Kyle Walker likes to step in, and Trippier's got great quality. So I think that diagonal ball from right to left is certainly an element. It's a good weapon that England do have, simply because you've got a bit of pace on that left-hand side. You can send a runner forward. And what happens is, if I've ever played as a left winger, Joe, or even as a left back, the communication does break down between the left-hand side, left back, and a left midfielder, or a right side and a right midfielder, whoever it would be. And that miscommunication leads to a little bit of uncertainty. Do I stay with the fullback, or do I pass him on? I've not heard a shout. All of a sudden, your body shape goes out of position. So that diagonal ball, you can always be susceptible to. And as long as you hit that ball early, you don't leave someone isolated, you can get across into the penalty area. The defence then are trying to shuffle back to the other side of the pitch, and you're caught out with a cross that's coming back across you. So, you know, it's a pattern that is used. It's a great way to hurt sides, and England are doing it well at the moment using that. Yeah.
So that was yesterday. The other big story from the weekend, of course, came in the 94th minute from Toni Kroos.
Sie haben so viel an Standards getüftelt. Kroos! Macht das Tor! Toni Kroos 2:1. Das ist nicht zu fassen. Halten Sie mich fest. Und macht alles wieder gut. Toni Kroos versenkt das Ding. 2:1. Versenkt Schweden. Ich fasse es nicht. Ich fasse es nicht. Jogi Löw. So viel Glück kann man nicht haben.
That's great that you're going to see them on Wednesday against Korea Republic, because I only saw the second half here. I was rushing home to try and see this match. There was a lot going on. I saw the second half, and you can put me right here, but it was amazing to see, they're 1-0 down. This actually could be happening. They could be going out of the tournament. But then what followed were 45 minutes of complete domination, and honestly a sense they were going to score, and they should have scored a few times. Yeah. And then, of course, it sways the other way because the clock comes into it and looks very bad, and Kroos does that.
Yeah, it was amazing. I've got to confess, right? So on Saturday, I was looking for an Irish bar so I could go and watch. I could go and watch the Mayo match. So anyway, I managed then to find this bar that I thought was showing it. They didn't show it, so I got my Wi-Fi up and running. So I watched the game on the Wi-Fi with decent Wi-Fi that I had. That finished up, and I was able then to watch the Germany game after. So I got a great Mayo ending to that game, and then I was able to watch that. And as you say, the second half, when Germany's under a lot of pressure, watching Germany, you got a sense that they've got hold of themselves, because I didn't see it from them in that first game at all against Mexico. I thought they were loose. I thought they were. It's almost that little bit of an arrogant way where you think, right, we're going to go and outscore them. We're going to go and beat them. No matter how they play against us, they will not score. And Mexico, they were brave. They had a bit of pace in the side. I think they were prepared to play a little bit direct as well, and really hurt them with the style that Mexico played. So for them to go after that first 45 minutes, when Sweden did brilliantly in that first 45 minutes, to turn it round and then going down to 10 men, it was a classic Germany performance. It really was. They
moved the ball really well in that second half. Like I said, they should have scored 2 or 3 easily. They hit the post at one stage.
Kroos was brilliant though, Joe, as well. Kroos was brilliant. He was the one that he stood up. I know, the goal was brilliant, and that's what gets the headlines. But in general, the way he controlled that game was outstanding. When you're under pressure, when you're down to 10 men as well.
So what's the concern for Germany then? A few people have said, well, they don't actually have a goal scorer in this tournament.
Leading up to the tournament, they hadn't been scoring abundance of goals. They'd been struggling to go on and really beat sides and put them to bed. And then they took that into that first game. So I closely watched that first game against Mexico. I was in one of the lounges, I think, or I was at one of the stadiums for a later game, so I was able to watch it properly. And I think they were exposed. I think they struggled badly. Wherever it was, anyway, I was watching the game, and they were moving the ball brilliantly. There was no real pace that was running beyond Timo Werner. They didn't have too much movement. I think Ozil and others were slowing the game down for them. I don't think they, certainly the creative players, were getting themselves in a position where they're taking 1 and 2 touches. It was more 4 or 5 touches. Yeah. Then, off the back of that, they were sending bodies forward beyond Ozil, whoever it was that were in more advanced positions, and they were leaving 2-on-2s and even 3-on-3s defensively. So Mexico took a chance, yes. They allowed them that sort of possession so they could break against them. But it was a risk worth taking, I thought. That's why I didn't see it in that Sweden game. I watched the first Sweden match, and Sweden moved the ball very well, actually. I thought, they're a bit of a threat, these. And they proved that maybe in the first half. They were causing a lot of problems for Germany. And whatever Jogi Löw has said at half-time, whatever message he's got to the players, he calmed them down, he got them settled, and then we started to see the real Germany take over, and the goals that they scored were class. And now it sets them up.
The point still being, who's their go-to man to score goals? Like, that is the big question.
That's why. I don't fancy them. I mean, again, I'm judging from that Mexico game more than the other night, because that was more momentum, and now it's with them. I don't see them, Joe. I don't see them going on and seriously challenging simply because of that. But it's how Germany play and dominating the football. That's how it is.
Their best hope might be that Thomas Muller somehow finds some inspiration. I mean, this time 4 years ago, he was closing in on what felt like a golden boot. He couldn't stop scoring. He was breaking their World Cup scoring records. We're not even talking about him now as a potential factor to even nick a goal.
Yeah, he's not been a threat at all, has he? He's not looked good, and it was that ability to arrive in the penalty area, the great build-up play. Muller wasn't necessarily involved in the major build-up play for Germany, but he was the one that was arriving into the area on the move, get himself his chance, and he'd score. It's not been happening for him here, has it? And that's been the standout thing. You say, I was with you. He had 2 great World Cups, didn't he? It looked like he was going to, break World Cup records for fun, but he's not been at it for the last couple of years, has he? I think we know that. With Bayern Munich, he hasn't been at it. So it's hardly surprising that he can't just turn it off and on. Hardly surprising that he's come to the World Cup and he's not been at it.
One last team we saw over the weekend was Belgium. So they put 5 on Tunisia. We've got England-Belgium on Thursday. And it seems Lukaku's going to be rested. He's got an ankle ligament issue. Hazard had a calf as well, so calf problem. Didn't actually give birth to a calf. And Dries Mertens has an ankle injury. So it's hard to know. You know, at the outset, we kind of hope that Belgium-England match might be a do or die, all on the line. We really get to see them go at it. But it doesn't quite seem like it's going to be that type of occasion. But that said, they put 5 on Tunisia. And, I mean, they're ticking along okay, the golden generation.
Yeah, it is, and I've seen them. Hazard is the key player for them. Hazard's the one that who they tried to get in advanced positions. Yeah, the build-up play starts from De Bruyne. I felt watching Belgium, De Bruyne has just been played a little bit too deep. He's starting the attacks. He's not really been able to get in more advanced positions. So it's all about Hazard for them. Yeah. They've got a lot of quality. I think if it's full strength, I think Belgium are probably a better side, and I'd probably think that Belgium would win that game. But momentum's with England after that game the other night. I don't know yourself, Joe, what you're thinking, but you could see him playing out a draw. You could see that you both get out of the group, you're unbeaten, but then you're looking at that other group. You're looking at the threat of Colombia. You're looking at the threat. I tell you what, Senegal as well. Real pace in that side. They could hurt them. I would imagine Poland have looked poor, haven't they? Poland look dreadful. So of course they're gone now. But out of Japan and Senegal, I think they prefer Japan to get out of that group, because I think Senegal could hurt either one of Belgium or England.
Okay. Well, we'll check in with you in the next few days. Interestingly, actually, Gary Lineker was saying that the audience share for the England game on the Beeb was 82.9%, one of the largest in the history of television in the country. Like, the hype machine is up and running. They got 18, 19 million for the Tunisia game. The Royal Wedding, Kev, the event of the year, the Royal Wedding, got 11.5 million. They've added 7 million onto that. It's kind of Euro 96 vibes. The sun is out. I'm waiting for Baddiel and Skinner to bring out a song.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's why you're jumping on that bandwagon again as well, Joe, isn't it? Yeah, but no, it is. You know, we're getting the audience figures through for all the games that we're doing out here. The figures are just astronomical, particularly for those England games. Yeah. And
what are the Beeb? What are the Beeb getting for a standard non-England game at this World Cup?
I was commentating the game last night. I think it was about 9 million. I think it was 9 million who were at the game. Was that the Serbia game? Was that the Serbia-Switzerland match? I think that was a Serbia-Switzerland match, yeah. 6 million the other night. I think it was 7 million for I was doing Senegal against Japan. So, yeah, you're getting regularly between 6 and 12 million probably. The Spain game, I think, was 11.5. I think that was right. Spain-Portugal, that was the first game that they had. So massive audiences, yeah. And
what does that equate to in abusive tweets for you, 9 million?
I tell you what, so surprised. My first game I did was, I can't even remember now, but my first game that I'd done.
First
game that I did.
Peru-Denmark.
Joe, I got one abusive tweet. It was unbelievable. Got some it's amazing. The other night I got one that called me a boring, you're the most boring commentator that's ever walked the earth, or something like that, which was fair game. I don't mind that. He's probably spot on with that analysis, really, to be fair. So in all honesty, I've not really been getting that much.
What do you put that down to? Is it just the general
happiness? It's been quite positive. I don't know.
There's a general kind of happiness.
I think it's been alongside you. It's been alongside you for such a long time, Joe. You've taught me well. I think that's what it is.
There's a truce of sorts when the World Cup's on, maybe. Maybe people are a bit more generous. Because if you did match of the day across a season, you'd get a lot of abusive tweets, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I think, do you know what that is, Joe? And you start to you could be critical of a certain club, couldn't you, or a certain player of that club. So I think it's just you get abuse from certain sets of supporters who are obviously following that particular club. That's maybe it, really. So,
and how many nice tweets are you getting?
Considerable amount, actually. Quite a few. It's been surprising, Joe. It surprised me. It surprised me. There's a lot of. It's probably it's false. It's false messages that's probably coming my way. I'm not saying it's all. I've had a few. A few give me a bit of abuse, don't get me wrong. And you get a few with pronunciations as well, Joe, trying to get the pronunciations right.
Yeah.
And you've just got to try and roll with it, haven't you? That's the way it is.
It sure is. So what's the plan tonight then?
Plan tonight, I think I'm going to meet Dan McDonnell actually tonight for a bit of dinner. Dan's in town, so nice. I'm going to meet Dan for a bit of dinner, watch the next games that we've got coming up this evening, and chill out. I've got a flight to Kazan tomorrow. I'm hoping that I get my passport back this evening. Flight to Kazan tomorrow morning, and that's pretty much it. Quiet night, really.
Don't worry about your passport. Enda's on the case.
Well, I don't know, Joe. You know, I've got the police give me this document to help me travel around. So I've got one of those passport cards. I don't know if you've got one yourself. I've got a passport card. So I got this police report to say that I could travel around Russia, but I couldn't leave the country as long as I was flying internally.
Okay.
And I was flying out Yekaterinburg this morning, and the ground staff at the airport were having none of it. No, they were giving me a no. You are not getting on this flight under any circumstances. So I went to the police. The police said, "Yeah, you're grand. Honestly, you're fine. No worries." And the police were actually laughing at the ground staff because they weren't allowing me to fly. Anyway, a bit of bargaining, and I managed to get on. So here I am back in Moscow. Yeah,
very good. That famous Kilbane charm. Well, listen, enjoy Germany against Korea. That'll be a good game, and I guess we'll talk to you when we talk to you.
Good man. Cheers, Joe. All the best, lads.